Hey there, Chef Jeff here at White Apron Catering in Lake Worth. Today we're going to make us some tomato basil sauce. We need a nice red sauce. And I know there's a lot of decent ones out there that you can go ahead and get, but go ahead and make your own. They're much better. So we're just going to go ahead and get started with this one. I do my tomato basil. I kind of do it real similar to what my mom and grandmother and everything else did. So we're just going to do it that same way. I've got a little chopped onion already. I've gone ahead and sliced up some garlic. So we got some chopped garlic. I like a little fennel in mine. If you don't have the fresh fennel, you can go ahead and use some fennel seed, but the fresh fennel is always better. I do a little dried parsley, or a little dried oregano, a little dried basil, and just a little touch of crushed red pepper. Some bay leaves, a little fresh basil that we're going to add in at the end, and then I might save this one. I'll show you that one after a little bit. So let's go ahead and get started. So we got a fennel. I just split it open. As you can see, there's a little core there right in the center. So we're just going to go ahead and quarter that, and we'll cut the core out. We don't need that. And then we're just going to dice some up. So go ahead and dice it. It runs same way like an onion does, where it's in the little radials. So we're just going to make little slices. So then you have little strips. And then from there, we'll just make our nice little dice. Just hold it together, keep your fingers out of the way, and just dice away. All right, and let's get started. I've got a pan here, and we're going to do our little stove action. I'm going to switch spots here real quick. And bring our stove over. We're going to get this started. And I've just got a nice deep pot. Let that get started. I'm going to put a little bit of oil in there, a little olive oil in the bottom to get it started. And we're just going to add in our mirepoix and get it going. We've got our onions. I've got about half a nice onion. Give you about a half a cup. We've got our diced fennel that we just did up, about the same amount there. And we'll throw in our garlic, about a couple tablespoons. And then here, I like to put the red pepper in now while we're doing this. And don't want to really make it hot, but the little bit of the red pepper will give you a wider base on that. So just a little sprinkle there. All right. And from there, we're going to get that going. And we're going to saute that up a little bit. And once that's all nice and the onions, and you'll be able to smell it, they'll start to get a little translucent. You'll see them, they'll soften up. And once that's there, takes about a minute or two, we're going to add in a little tomato paste. I do a little bit of tomato paste in there. Again, I think it gives it a nice, broadens up the base. It gives a little deeper, richer texture and flavor. Okay, and then we're going to fry that up. That tomato paste is going to need to fry. You're going to see the oil from the onions and the garlic, and you're going to see it turn. It'll be all red. You'll see it'll all come in. I'll show you here in just a second. Don't worry about scorching that. Just give it a little stir every now and then. The tomato paste will darken up. It'll give you a nice, deeper, richer flavor. We're going to add a little bit of water in here so that we can have something to thin it out with. But be right back. All right, and while that's frying up, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about tomatoes. You can get the fresh tomatoes. If you like those, go ahead and squeeze them out, get some of the juice and seeds out of there. Or you can use nice canned tomatoes. There's really good California ones and everything. I like the San Marzanos. You'll get those. They're a good Italian tomato. They're not real sweet. They got a nice body and flavor to them. So that's what I use. And I get the whole peeled. They're peeled Italian plum tomatoes. So get a nice tomato if you're doing this sauce. All right, and let's see if we can let you see that while we're doing it. But see how it's starting to fry up there on the bottom? That's what you're looking for. So while that's frying up, now that's just about there, I'm going to take a little bit of balsamic vinegar. Just a little bit. You're going to look, for this amount, we're probably looking at maybe 2 tablespoons. Just a little bit. Again, I think it's going to give you a nicer And we're gonna cook that completely down, and you can use that liquid to go ahead and scrape the bottom of the pan and get all that tomato fond up. And then once that's all dissolved and evaporated out, let's add that 1 can of water in for your paste. And we're going to add in a couple cans of tomatoes. See, look at these, they're beautiful. Nice whole tomatoes, they're all peeled. Get any of the puree that those came from. And we got one more we're going to do. And we're going to stir these in. And these will start cooking. And you can reach right in there and squeeze those up. You know, get them going. I like to still have a little bit of the tomato in there. Sometimes you squeeze them up and, you know, really, if you got one of the stick blenders, those work great. I kind of like those. We're going to turn this down a little bit. There we go. Don't want it bubbling all over me. And then I'll put about a tablespoon of oregano in there. And about the same amount of the basil. We'll give that a little stir. And then I'm going to grab my handy dandy little stick blender here, and I'm just going to pulse this through. Like I said, if you like it real smooth, smooth it all the way out. I like it still to have a little bit of body to it. But see how I'm just sort of pulsing it? And that's about all the more I think I like it. So we're going to take that and just set that aside. And from here, then we can add in some bay leaves. Of course, you go with 3. Seems like that's the magic number. And what else are we going to put in here? Now, here's our little surprise. You remember, you got the Parmesan rinds. Go ahead and you save those. They're good in soups and everything else. Take a couple. Throw them in your spaghetti sauce while you're making it. Throw them in your pasta sauce. You're going to be amazed how good those are going to be. A couple little pieces. That's going to cook down, and you can even take them out once they're all completely cooked. Pull them out when you're pulling the bay leaves out. There's going to be almost nothing left of that. And then from here, we're going to add a little bit of salt. You can always add some more later. Little ground pepper, and we're going to let that go. I usually like to let this cook just real low and slow for, well, maybe about a half an hour. That'll give the Parmesan rinds a chance to pull out, and it gives all the flavors from the tomatoes and the balsamic a chance to settle in. And then once that's there, we're going to take a little bit of this basil. I'm going to take a little of the basil. And we're going to chop that up. This is just about ready to go in. So I find one of the nice ways to chop the basil, if you want nice pretty little strands, is if you kind of stack it all up together. Make like a little stack, and then just roll it. And then when you go to slice it, you can just make nice, teeny little strips and slices. And what you have here, the official term is called a chiffonade, but really it's just pretty. So we're going to take that, and we're going to throw that right in its pot after that's had about 30 minutes to cook. Move this out of the way again. Actually, we're just going to bring this right up on top. Give that a stir. And there you have it. We're going to let this go for a little bit, and you're going to see this is going to be your best favorite family sauce that you're making. So This is how we do it here. Chef Jeff here at White Apron Catering in Lake Worth. This is our tomato basil sauce. Let's go ahead and take a look at that while you're doing it. We got our tomato basil sauce. Chef Jeff here at White Apron Catering in Lake Worth. Enjoy. Thank you very much for watching. Appreciate it.